Good morning to Zoe and Keith.
Morning.
Thank you so much for your time this morning. We are just keen to find out some heartfelt, pragmatic answers from your experiences with your son at Puzzle Centre. How did you discover Puzzle Centre?
It was our health visitor that first put us onto Puzzle when we were just starting out on our journey discovering about autism. And yep, she was the first person that made us aware of that Puzzle existed. She'd had another family locally that had been to Puzzle and had had great results with it and thought it was something that Max would benefit from. Yep, that's how.
Yeah, we found out about it and did a little bit of research, and then obviously really wanted Max to go, but I think initially we were quite unsure about whether he'd actually get in or not.
Yeah.
So we're really pleased that he did.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, that's fantastic. And what difference has Puzzle Centre made to Max's life?
Goodness. To Max, it has given him confidence and some strategies to deal with situations that he finds really tricky. He's learnt to better manage his emotions. He's able to communicate. He's found independence. Without Puzzle's help, Max wouldn't be in the situation he's in now, which is where he's at mainstream school, loving it, enjoying it, interacting with his peers, coping really well. So a huge difference to his life.
I think relationships have been easier for him, and that sort of goes back to the fact that he now manages his emotions a lot better. I think before he went to Puzzle, he struggled to build relationships because he'd get angry, he'd get frustrated, and because he's sort of learnt to self-regulate in many respects, it means that he's been able to build relationships, whereas before that he'd maybe been a bit wary because he was likely to have a bit of a tantrum. So that's been a massive positive.
Oh, thank you so much. And what do you think, what are the biggest differences that Puzzle has made to your family as a whole unit?
Our understanding of autism, and that they were really the first people that showed us it wasn't the worst thing in the world that could happen to us. Actually, it's got so many positives, and something that we were so frightened of, that we were really where we didn't know how the future would pan out for us. So if it wasn't for Puzzle, I don't really know where we'd be. It's given us access to so many more resources, and also, we found strength in ourselves to be able to live a life differently to how we might have originally thought, but that's full of joy and hope and love.
I think when you first get a diagnosis, or when you first start realising that your child's got autism, I think everybody you speak to, they'll try and be empathetic, but it will almost be sympathetic. Oh, how are you finding it? Is it a real struggle? And actually speaking to people at Puzzle, it was much more positive. What can we do? Here are the things that are great about Max. Here are all the brilliant things. So that was a real difference just in the conversations that we were having.
Wonderful. What do you think your most fond memory or experience of Puzzle Centre would be?
I think for me it was, we did a scootathon, and Max was part of that, and all of the children were sponsored to ride around Willow Lake and Milton Keynes to raise some money for Puzzle, and it was seeing all the children come together as a group doing something that they all loved. All the families were there together, and that's when it felt like a whole family for everybody. And it was just seeing the children being able to do something so everyday and so normal that maybe a year ago we wouldn't really have thought was possible. And that's probably my best memory of it.
Mine's a bit of a weird one, because mine's more about something that Max wouldn't do and when he wouldn't do it. Because when we first started going to Puzzle, because of the transition and because going in a group, it was quite hard for him and quite stressful actually going in. But by the time he left Puzzle, it wasn't arriving that was the problem, it was the coming home. Because quite often, we actually couldn't get him to leave. He wanted to go outside and play on the slide and go down the ramp on his little car, and inevitably we were one of the last ones to leave. But it was a real change, the struggle being at the start and then the struggle being at the end, but it was a nice change.
Yeah.
Oh, it's fantastic. And how do you think Puzzle Centre could do better?
Oh goodness, I don't feel like Puzzle could do anything to improve, because I think they're the most wonderful people, a fantastic setting, brilliant resources. I think the only thing we would want is more funding, more awareness, more help, so that Puzzle could expand and help more families and help more children. I think that's the only thing we would ever want to improve.
Yeah, I think if we look at how much it has affected our lives and how much Max has gained from going there, it almost makes you sad to think that there are kids out there that have not got access to that. There are going to be kids that have got the same sorts of struggles that Max has got, but because there's only so much room or because there's only so much funding, they're going to get turned down, and then they're just going to go into a mainstream environment and maybe struggle. So that really, if there could be more children that could be reached, that would be fantastic. But I guess that all boils down to funding and how much is available.
Yeah.
But that would be the only thing. On site, not a thing that they could do better. It was
Wonderful,
absolutely amazing.
wonderful.
And what would you say to others who may be considering joining Puzzle Centre?
Oh goodness, don't hesitate. Don't hesitate. If you have a child that has communication difficulties in any way, then they are the people that can help you. They literally changed our whole family dynamic and gave Max a quality of life we were worried that he was never going to have. And I think that there might be limited places due to space and funding, but if people are able to access the outreach programme, that was hugely beneficial, and that's actually how we first joined Puzzle. So before Max got a place there, we had the outreach programme 9 months before we got a place there, and the help that provided us, that set us on the right course with the right information and the right strategies, that led to Max having a successful placement there. So yeah, definitely, without a doubt, it's the best place you could think of sending a child.
Yeah, I agree. The more people that know about Puzzle, the better too, because I guess every charity is looking for funds and donations and people to support them, and Puzzle do such a good job that the more people that know about it, the more that are going to support it, and hopefully the more children are going to be benefiting from the work that they do.
Thank you so much, Zoe and Keith, for your time, and it's been amazing.
You're
Thank you so
welcome.
much.